reached out and what he has to share with you guys. But just so you know, we've known this cat and his family.
Since day one.
Yeah, from he's one of our day ones, and we were all kids running around together. And I've seen Josiah. He's gonna explain some of this, get into some stupid stuff, and he's seen us do the same. And we've all have tended to kind of bounce back, you know. So I'm going to let Josiah share his heart with you guys. I don't know what he's going to say, but I do know his heart. And it's the same with all of you guys. Like, you know, last night y'all got to share whatever you had some in your heart, share it, because we trust you, right?
Right.
Okay. And so we're going to keep with that and show some love for Mr. Josiah Mitchell. He could be mistaken as a youth because he is so small.
Oh.
So I'm just going to end with that.
Rude.
How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody hearing me good without a mic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a couple of points that everything's going to lead to. One is life never stops moving.
Yeah.
It's going to keep going, period. Okay? And attitude. How would you describe me? Right now, what would you think about me? If you just saw me, what kind of guy would you think I am?
Motivating. Good word.
Where's Pat?
You're getting rude.
What would you say? If you just met me, what kind of person would you think I am? You did just meet me. What kind of person do you think I am?
Good guy, hard worker.
Hey, we can have fun with it. It's okay. I mean, I'm serious. I want honesty.
Yeah.
I want honesty. Okay?
She said motivating back here.
Motivated. What about you? What would you say about me? Hard working? I look hard working?
Come on, let's be real.
I would say intense.
Intense.
I was just about to say that.
Let's go. Embrace it. We gotta embrace it.
That's good. That's good.
You look like you work in the oil fields.
Bingo. Got it.
What did she say?
How many of you would guess at the age of 17 I had 9 felonies and I was looking at almost a lifetime in prison? That's okay. It's funny now, but not really. I was in high school. How many of you believe that in high school I had my first kid? Every decision you make now, I don't care what age you are, will carry with the rest of your life.
Amen.
One thing I think adults make, a mistake they make, is I coach baseball heavily. I love coaching baseball. Right now my son's 8, and so I'm with the younger kids right now. And this goes for y'all too, the biggest mistake adults make is they underestimate youth.
Come on.
And they underestimate their ability.
Yeah.
I have a group of 8-year-old kids on a baseball field that can turn double plays on a regular,
Come on.
but they're not old enough to make their bed. But I can expect them to hit a home run over a 200-foot fence, which they do at 8 years old, but they can't unload the dishwasher.
Come on now.
At 17 years old, I was sitting in Gregg County looking at possibly a lifetime in prison, but hey, I'm just in high school. Because at 17 years old in the state of Texas, guess what? You're an adult
Yep.
in the judicial system.
Age of consent.
Because at the age of 17 years old, you can graduate high school. And I'm somebody that's real. I don't like to sugarcoat things because I want to let people know what it's like. I don't sugarcoat things to my 8-year-old kid. I'm not necessarily so abrasive to him, but I let him know how the world works.
Right.
And believe it or not, you're all in a vulnerable state right now in your age. In high school, I was trying to figure out what a man was. I'm extremely competitive. I'm an alpha male, I always want to be at the top, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter. I want to be at the top, and I want everybody to know who I am. That's always been my personality. I love attention. I've had to learn how to redirect my attention I get. But when I was younger, I got attention the way I thought a man. I thought a man should get attention. My dad, growing up, grew up a hard life. And he's a man's man. If anybody knows my dad is what you would think a man's man is.
Yeah.
Whooped people his whole life growing up. Sent kids to the hospital. His mom thought he was going to kill people with his bare hands in high school. He's a man's man. Was gone most of my life working in the oil field. He's a man's man. Got to do what you got to do. Now I grew up in church. I grew up in church my entire life. I knew what I should be doing. And that's the only thing that saved me through my journey. And like I said, I think people underestimate where y'all are at in life. At the age of 12, I lost my virginity. Because I was going to be the best, and I was going to be the first. I've got friends that have 12-year-olds, and they let them go into rooms by themselves right now because they're ignorant enough to think that at 12 years old, they're not even thinking like that yet. But I've got news for you. And y'all already know that. There's 12-year-olds out there getting pregnant right now. My freshman year of high school, I went to Pine Tree. I lettered in 2 sports. I lettered in 1 sport my freshman year, which is not easy to do at a large school. And I was supposed to go to college as a baseball player. I lettered as a freshman. As a freshman, I lettered as a wrestler, and I was supposed to go to college as a baseball player. I was the toughest guy. I'm not saying that because there's nobody to back it up. I promise you, I was the toughest guy in my grade. Because I made sure I was the toughest guy in my grade. I was one of the strongest in my grade because I pushed myself because I thought a man had to be strong, physically tough. I wanted to be the best at everything. I tried to outdrink everybody. I would try to drink a 30-pack in a night in high school. By the end of my high school career, I could do it. And to me, it wasn't a party if I didn't drink enough, if I didn't throw up, if I didn't get to a fight, if I didn't go home with a girl. That was it. And Monday morning when I got back to school, we're trying to plan where the next party is. And parents are out there thinking, they're in school, they're high school kids, they're not thinking like, they're not out there doing that. And I'm sure it's only gotten worse since I've got out. Adults underestimate youth. Severely underestimate youth. My whole life, I've had to bounce back from ups and downs. I put myself down, no doubt. Regardless, I had to bounce back. By the time I was 17, I was getting arrested for felonies. I'm sitting in Gray County Jail, and I have my come to Jesus moment. I'm so young, they have to let me out on what they call a promise to return bond, because if they don't let me out, I'm going to get truancy at school. And there's another charge. So as I go back to school, I'm in a vulnerable state in my life, and I don't realize what the real world is yet. I don't much change. I'm still doing what I did before. because I never thought about consequences. I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy. That's my personality. I think about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. It's good and it's bad. I have to learn to balance that. You have to learn to balance that. As they did an investigation on me, because we broke into 9 different places, houses and buildings, and stealing stuff from people, as they did an investigation on me, they're coming to school and arresting me because I'm getting charged with more crimes. And I'm still out in school, drinking, partying, and chasing girls. I think it's kind of funny that they're cuffing me in the middle of my classroom and taking me out. Because once again, I like attention. I didn't care how I got the attention, to an extent. But that was manly. I was tough. As all this is going on, I get my girlfriend pregnant. While all this is going on, I'm still fighting on a regular basis. While I was in high school, I broke this hand 3 times. The last time I shattered these 2 bones. Because I'm going to be the toughest guy out there. And most of the time over nothing. Just to show male dominance. Because that's what I thought it was. I thought also that's what women wanted to see. That's what I thought the girls wanted to see. They wanted to see an alpha male. Because in my mind, in my vulnerable state, I thought that's what a man was. I now see that's wrong, but at the time I thought I was spot on. I didn't have the guidance I should have had. Even though the guidance was there for me all along, I didn't reach out and take it. Like I said, I grew up in church. I was surrounded by it. My father was one of the pastors in the church. He was a tough love kind of dad. He's not going to reach out to me, but he's there. But I didn't reach out to him either. I always knew best. I always had a plan for my future that involved me and just me, with no regard to anybody else. Not only was I hurting myself along the way, I was hurting my family, friends, and anybody that cared for me. And now here I am, just out of high school, still on probation, multiple felonies, got a kid, still living the same, didn't change my lifestyle, and I did end up in prison. And every time I got locked up, every time I come to church camp, I'm laying on the floor, promising God this, promising God that. And He delivered. That's the sad part on my part. He delivered. But in my mind, I've always thought that God wants perfection. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. If I'm going to work out, I'm going to be there 5 days a week. I'm going to bust my butt for 2 hours. And if I can't do that, I'm not going to do it. If I'm going to play in the men's softball league, I'm going to practice on my own 2 days a week and go play. And it doesn't amount to anything. It's just a men's softball league. I'm an all or nothing type of person. I'm all in or I'm all out. One thing, since I've started coaching and being a parent, that I realized, I tell my kids all the time that I'm coaching, I don't want perfection, I want effort. They're 8 years old. They make errors on a regular basis. And I realized they think I'm getting on to them because they made the error. I don't care if you make an error. You're going to make errors. Baseball's the hardest game in the world. And they're 8. But when you make the error because you didn't put the effort into the play, now I have a problem. Lack of effort. All I want from them is the effort. If the effort comes, everything else will fall into place. Has to be constant effort. The other big key is to be plugged in and have accountability. Plugged in and have accountability. That's what I am as a coach to those kids. I'm accountability. When I see them slip up on the field, when I see them have a bad attitude or get down on themselves, I call them out on it. If they were out there by themselves just running around, they could be giving 100% effort, but it's chaos. They're 8 and it's baseball. If you don't have somebody that you're accountable to, and I don't mean your best friend that is going to tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
Or that hasn't been through the situation you've been through. I'm talking about somebody that's been there. Somebody that's done that. Please don't go through your high school career thinking, oh, these are just the best days of my life, and let me get out of high school and I'll start real life. You hear all the time, wait till you get to real life. Let me tell you something. You're in real life.
Yeah.
There's 8, 9, 10-year-olds in Africa right now fighting civil wars, killing people and being killed. In the Revolutionary War, for America, there's many documentations of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids that fought and died for this country. A 12-year-old kid fought on a battlefield for this country. A lieutenant saw his effort in the battle and immediately promoted him to sergeant. 12 years old. And you can't mow the lawn? Because we're too worried about hurting people's feelings? Because you're underestimating of what your abilities are. In the Jewish culture, you're a man at what, 12, 13?
It's 12.
12. You're a man at 12. Okay? It means you're expected to provide. You're expected to work. You're expected to be a man. At 12 years old these days, people are getting in trouble by the law by putting too many chores on their kids. Because somebody higher up doesn't agree with that. Because they want to dilute your minds into thinking how they think. Don't be fooled. You're capable of doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your situation is. It literally, that's an overused phrase, but it literally does not matter what your situation is.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to come either way. Time doesn't stop for you.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that has always kept me going. Is I know time moves on. Life keeps going. I tell myself that all the time. And when I come into hard situations, even when I wasn't walking with God, people would say, why are you in a good mood? Life keeps moving. I know I'm only in a bad spot for a little while.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I'm competitive. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to get out of this spot. I'm going to bounce back. I know that. I don't have to hear it from Larry. I don't have to hear it from Jeremiah. I know it. But every time I would fall on my face in God, to God, I'd come to church camp, and man, would we have good church camps. Man, I would do some stupid stuff at church camp. As y'all say, I'm extra. I just am. And we'd have such a good experience. And then I would go home, and I would go back to school, and I have to be the best again. And within 2 weeks, I was back in my old cell. I'd be in my jail cell, praying. Got arrested 15 times from the age I was 17 to the time I was 21. 15 times. And every time I would fall on my face and I would say, God, if you get me out of this situation, God, if you do this, God, if you do that, I'll do this. And I meant it. It wasn't just me bargaining. I meant it. Because God knew I was an all or nothing kind of guy. He had to take all away from me. I heard a jailhouse preacher one time say, if the only place you find God is in jail, why would he not want you in jail? If the only place that you find God is in your worst situation, why would he not allow you to keep going back to your worst situation? He's going to put you where you can find him.
Yeah.
Because he knows where you're at. You need to know where he's at.
Yeah.
And every time I would get out, come home from church camp, back to the old me. And I had all the help in the world. It was all right there. It was in my home. It was where I went every Sunday and every Wednesday. I had everything promised to me. I was supposed to go to college and be a great baseball player and at least get a degree. But I ended up with a kid in felonies. I was 17 years old. I almost ruined my entire life while I was in high school. I can't stress that enough. You're in the real world. Your decisions you make today, tomorrow, yesterday will affect you for the rest of your life, and it will affect your children. You don't even have them yet. Your decisions right now are affecting your children and your future spouse. And if you're not thinking like that, you need to be. Everything you do has a consequence, good or bad.
It's true.
I hate the saying, well, it happened for a reason. You're right, it did happen for a reason. Was it a good reason or a bad reason? I hear people say it all the time. Well, it happened for a reason. You know, there's a reason that happened. You're daggone right, there's a reason that happened. There's a reason everything happens. Is it a good reason or is it a bad reason? Yeah. Are you going to flip this situation and make it positive? Or are you going to sulk in it and let it stay negative?
Yeah.
Are you going to stay in a bad situation so long you lose all hope? You know who the people are that lose all hope, who have zero hope? The people that commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that commits suicide has literally lost all hope. They have no hope left in their body. I'm not saying hope's not there. It's there for them to reach out and grab. It was there for me to reach out and grab. but they have lost all hope. And you say, yeah, that's a good story. That's cool. That's touching. That's not going to be me. I'm never getting depressed like that. I'm not going to drink that much. I don't care to drink. I'm not even into the opposite sex yet. I won't commit crimes. Why would I commit crimes? I go to church all the time. I'm a good person. What do you think I was sitting there saying when I was your age? I'm not going to go to jail. I'm not going to go to prison. I'm going to be a Major League Baseball player. I'm not going to get in trouble for this. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to have a kid in high school. How can I have a kid in high school? How can I get felonies in high school? How can I get kicked out of multiple high schools? I had no accountability. And I didn't reach out and take the help that was sitting right next to me. That was 2 doors away, across the hall. That was sitting with me every Sunday and every Wednesday. How did I not grab that help? But that's not going to be me. That's what some of you are thinking. That's not going to be me. Are you sure? Because I never thought it was going to be me. Now, I'm not sitting here to tell you this. I'm not trying to scare you, because scare tactics only work as long as there's fear. And fear usually doesn't last long. As soon as the thought's gone, there's no more fear. I'm trying to get you to think on a different level. I'm trying to open your eyes to let you know you're way more capable than what society tells you you're capable of.
Yeah.
You're way more capable than what your parents think you're capable of at your age. I have 8-year-old kids that can turn double plays on a regular basis. But parents can be prosecuted literally by the law if they give them too many chores. Because a judge thinks they're not capable of doing chores. You can do anything that you are determined to do. And I know that's such a huge phrase. You can be anything you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm telling you, you can do whatever you want to do. But you have to decide that that's what you want to do. Not laying in bed. It'd be pretty cool to do that. I think I'm trying to do that. No. If you want to be a pro athlete, you better be working at your sport 7 days a week. If you want to be a pro bodybuilder, you better be working out every morning and every evening. You have to outwork everybody and have talent. Not just talent and not just outwork. You gotta have everything. You gotta have the whole shebang. So you've got to figure out what it is you want to do. And I promise you, you can do it. But don't you dare ever let anybody outwork you. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. Maybe you want to be a youth pastor. You say, well, that's a pretty easy job. It seems pretty easy. You show up on Sundays. You show up on Wednesdays. You hang out with some kids. Talk to them. Have some cool moments. Go home. Dream job. You know how many people want to be youth pastors? You better have the talent, and you better outwork. I don't care what it is. I'm telling you right now, you're more capable of anybody thinks you're capable of.
Yeah.
And every decision you make right now will affect you for the rest of your life. All God wants is effort, not perfection.
Yeah.
If you will give him the effort, he will perfect you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Don't be outworked by other Christians. Don't be the one that just shows up on Sunday. That just shows up on Wednesday. Takes the new believers class. What did Peter say? Jeremiah said one time, he envied Peter when he said that he's always talking to God. And he talks to God more than everybody.
Yeah.
He outworks everybody. He was proud of it. Who was Peter? He was a nobody. Literally a nobody. If he would have lived here, he probably would have lived in Gilmer, Texas, in the middle of the sticks, and wore overalls every day.
Oh my God.
I'm being real. He was nobody anybody knew other than those that were close to him. In fact, the only disciple that was well known was Paul. Everybody else was pretty basic. But God knew what their real potential was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of you read the New Testament, but they weren't perfect.
Yeah.
All Jesus wanted was their effort. That's all he wanted. He wanted their effort. Even after Jesus died and rose, they were still out there making mistakes. And I can remember being in your seats thinking how perfect the youth pastor probably was. You know, he did make mistakes. And the pastor, I mean, I just put him on this huge pedestal like they weren't even real people. And granted, it's easy to do when Jeremy Brown's your youth pastor. But we make mistakes.
Yeah.
Literally everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
It's the effort you give after you make a mistake.
Yeah.
Because if you just lay down and wallow in self-pity, you think God's just going to rush down and swoop you right up? You think if I have a kid on the baseball field that made a mistake and he's throwing a fit on the ground, I'm just going to run out there and just swoop him right up? I'm probably going to reprimand him. But I still want the effort. Guys, I want you to know today, after all that stuff has happened, I didn't lay down. I didn't wallow in it. Tomorrow kept coming. I kept pushing forward. I'm standing here today with a great wife who loves my children. And one day, you're going to realize how special having a good spouse is.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a good girlfriend to hang out with on the weekends, a good boyfriend to hang out with on the weekends. same movies, same sports. You're both good at bowling. Or whatever it is. Because I was there once too. And I thought that was going to be forever. In my vulnerable state. Because I was still trying to figure out what being an adult was. By the world's standards right now, I have a great life. I make good money. I'm a successful coach in what I do.